Like,
I
are
put my sweater
what?
on. I put
You,
my sweater on.
oh, now you
Yeah.
singing. Hey,
Welcome to
oh,
another amazing episode. Amazing episode in Opportunity of Talkers versus Doers. Yes, he tried to get me again, you guys, as
y'all know
always.
how we do.
I'm so sorry. We got an amazing guest on the mic, love, give me, but I tell you, karma, it's coming. It's definitely coming. But yes, always, you guys, it's Talkaverse Dudes, TBD podcast. Well, we not only talk about every aspect of the entrepreneur, but we bring amazing guests on and spotlight them and also provide education. And you guys know what? That's what we love to do, provide education. So this amazing guest we got on, Mr. Blake, with Growing Up Credit. How are you today?
How y'all doing today? I'm doing real good. Doing
Awesome,
great.
awesome.
Awesome. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Thank
And so
y'all.
once again, I said go
No
on
problem.
credit. So he's gonna go up with you guys and tell y'all about credit. So before we jump in there, we know always that people kind of want to know a little bit about you, who you
Right.
are, where you from, what state, what city you rep. Just give us a little bit about where you from.
Okay. Well,
Background.
my name is Blake Harris. I'm the owner of Going Up Credit Repair, where we go in and we remove negative, inaccurate items from your credit report, increase your credit score to buy that home car of your dreams. I am currently right now I reside in Mobile, Alabama. I grew up in Shelby County, Alabama. I grew up in our little town of Columbiana, Alabama, and everything. I grew up there. Moved to Mississippi for a little while, out there toward Tupelo, Oxford area, and came back in about 2012. Um, yeah. So a couple of years ago, maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. Yeah, I just decided to kind of change my life here, and began on working on my personal credit myself. Studying and everything, and a lot of trial and error, and then started helping a few people out as time went on, and then just was convinced to go ahead and branch out and start my own business and everything, and try to help out a lot more people. And so I just kind of just developed a passion for this. And I really love doing it. I really just love helping people. And this is something, an area that really people struggle with um, when they want to try to obtain things, the finer things in life or
Definitely.
things they deserve. I feel like, home, cars, good credit, low interest rates, things of that nature, and just, the things that we work so hard for, and we want to obtain in life. But your credit, man, that's the thing holding us back. And the thing a lot about that I think about me is
Definitely.
not only do
That
I work
credit
on your
can be,
credit,
like
but
you said,
yeah, yeah. So there's things that I do. I also educate them as well. So to
Mm.
try not to, so they won't get back in that same place. So it's just one thing that we do it for them, and help correct their credit score and get them back going. Restore everything, and but to educate them so they won't go back into that situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So just knowledge is
Bro,
power.
man, I love that. I love that too. I love how you said as well, like the passion. You heard that, like
Mhm.
your personal journey, something
always.
you did, because you
Right.
talked about I had to get myself together in that credit,
Yeah.
and even when you were talking about that, the stuff that you want, right?
Hmm.
Those goals that you have in your life, a car, a house, getting that start. And I just love it, man, because it's all about going up. And so your business name is amazing. Like in that journey and seeing that how you came up with it, man. That's dope. I love
Right.
that. And it's something like you said that people need, and even
Hmm.
what you said with education, because
Yes.
it's one thing to fix, right? It's one thing to
Right.
fix something, but how do I now get that foundation to make sure I don't go back? So when you said
Right.
that, I was like, yes, love it, and I
Right.
think that's what's missing a lot of times. So that's
Yes.
that's that's stand up right there.
Hmm. Yeah. So that's what we
Love
do,
it,
man.
love it. No, I'm just
Yeah.
saying I love it. I love it. I love the whole conversation. How you guys are just collaborating about the amazing things of growing up. So yes, it again with the education. Like Mike always say, when we're doing everything is making sure you have that passion and purpose. And the great thing is you just having that passion, that
Right.
purpose to do it. But you guys, y'all know I'm a big peeper or toucher. So as you guys know in our past episode, we talked about niche. So him just narrowing it down to say he loved helping people, but it's still specific to helping people that need to go up in their credit. So I had to bring that back in there, you guys, of what specifically he do. He has a target of what he's doing. He's great at it. And I can say that because I have been blessed to connect with him through the real estate aspect and bringing clients over to him. And he's just doing an amazing job, just blazing that way for them to be able to open up the future great things they got coming with home ownership and so many other things. So I'm just so excited for that because we're able to find somebody like us that look like us, speak like us, talk like us, from a background
Yeah,
as us,
come
and
Hmm.
on.
still able to help people. So
Right.
that's always amazing. So just thank you for that, Blake, for being able to give that to the people. And as we talk about going up, being business owners, I don't know if Mike go all in, but I know I'm trying to do a lot. So I just want to jump right in with credit. So one of the biggest things I know a lot of people talk about is should they actually close accounts that
Mm.
they I kind of went back and forth. And I'm gonna tell you guys too. I'm not gonna talk a lot. I'm gonna let him talk in a minute too. It's him coming. But I know I talked with him and I told him about that, about some things, on my credit and closing. So I wanted to get that out there because I've had accounts that closed by themselves and affected my account.
Mm.
So if you kind of just speak about some of those things.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that's interesting. I had a client to call me while I was in the store today. So closing accounts. And his particular question was they're about to get a home about 2 or 3 months. They're gonna look to try to go ahead and get the ball rolling. Um, a car payment. Yeah, he was like, what if I pay this car off? What if I go ahead and just pay it off? That'll kind of really affect my debt to income positively and everything. And I told him, yeah, that's a good thing, but I'm letting you know once you pay that account off, once you close that positive account off, your score is going to take a small dip. Now, I've never seen it take a large significant drop, but it will take a small dip. But then eventually it will go back up. So I just recommended with him just pay it down, maybe to about a year or 6 months or something like that, pay it down. So to keep that positive payment history going. Thing about it is that's an installment loan. But the scenario me and you were talking about, we were talking about credit cards. And those cards will close if they're dormant for a certain amount of time. Now, everybody may be kind of different, a year or so, but with no activity going on, some credit card companies will close that account off. And your credit score will take a slight drop. And the reason being is 35% of your credit score is payment history. And so, with that revolving line of credit being closed, you're losing that payment history. So, closing that off, it just stops and cuts things off and just really kind of just really fumble some stuff up in there. So, what you want to do is not do that. Okay. So, especially if you have, 2, 3 years on time payment history or whatever of that built up, you're going to lose that. Okay. So, what you want to do is, Netflix, put something on it, to keep it going,
Mm,
maybe every 2 or 3 months or something like that to keep it going. Now, with me, I have a lot of credit cards, but I know how to manage all of them. So you want to be able to get as many that you can kind of handle. If you can't handle more than five, whatever, don't get more than five. Do what what's best for your credit profile, what's for you. So I have multiple credit cards, but I use each and every one of them, even business cards. I use each and every one of them, and then pay them off every month. So closing off accounts or even um, removing accounts, closed accounts. You kind of want to be careful with those positive accounts. You want to move, closed accounts. You want to leave those on there. Negative closed accounts, late payments and stuff like that, charge offs, stuff like that. You want to get those off because those are negatively affecting your credit score and profile. So those you want to get off of there. So closed
mm,
accounts, um, credit cards. Do what you can, try not to get them closed off. Do not close it off unless it's something new. I've had where I've got approved for a card. I didn't like the line of credit they gave me. I think it was like 2 grand, something like that. I don't know. I didn't like that. I tried to ask for a line of credit increase, called and talked to the manager. They wouldn't give it to me, so I said, "Oh, just close it off." So
mm.
before it even reported or whatever, got on there when we had that closed off. Just I don't accept it. So you can do that. But like I said, 3, 4, 5 years accounts you got when those close off, your credit is going to take a big
Wow.
drop. Installment
That
loans, small dip.
That is
that's
very
so
understandable.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's so important too, because I think a lot of times people don't know that. Even like you said, the percentage of what that credit that credit score makes up in terms of when you're closing accounts. So,
Right.
Blake,
Right.
on that same note, like close
Hmm.
accounts, right, and being
Hmm.
careful how you close those out, especially when you talked about that history there,
Hmm.
on time
Hmm.
payments and what it does for your credit. What about, like, the question comes up a lot of times, like paying collections? Like, what's the importance with that in terms of your credit and how it affects your credit?
Paying collection. So I'm going to recommend, advise you not to pay a collection. For one, you don't owe that collection company anything. So the reason being is that collection company um, bought that collection or whatever from the original creditor for penalties on the dollar. Okay, the original creditor figured out that you wasn't going to pay them, charged it off, took the L, and then sold it to a debt collector for pennies on the dollar. And now
Mm,
that debt collector is trying to come after you to pay them that full amount. They didn't even pay that much. So don't do that. So what you want to do is, if you do have to pay a collection agency, and sometimes when I have some clients that are getting close to um, pre-approval, or they want to, trying to get the ball rolling. It may be a collection like $100, something like that. And then, I would say, okay, yeah, that would be a time you can pay. Now, here's what you do. Okay, so if you want to pay that small collection off, you want to just go ahead and get this out the way. Call them and ask for a settlement. Okay, ask for a settlement. So if it's $100, say, hey, look, we're closing. We're trying to get some things rolling. I'm willing to pay today. Will you accept $50? Okay,
Okay.
fine, cool. Also, ask for a pay for deletion. Now, what this is you pay the amount that we agreed on, even if it's for a lesser amount, and ask them to send you an email or in the mail or in writing or whatever, saying that, hey, we will remove this off. We will delete this off your credit report immediately. Okay, pay for deletion. And some of them will, some of them will not. But more than likely, you can get that removed off. If you're going, that's the only time I would ask a client or someone to pay off a collection. If not, dispute that thing. Go ahead and dispute it. Send your validation letters. Um, getting that situated to medical or whatever it is, and then dispute with the credit bureaus to get that removed because they make money off of you. Like
mm.
I said, they bought that pennies on the dollar from the original creditor, and they're trying to come after you to pay that what you don't owe.
Okay. I hope
Ooh.
y'all taking notes because I
I,
am. I'm
look, sis, I was just about to say, listen, are y'all listening? Like the gems there with stuff that you never hear, because I think a lot of times I feel like, you know, Erica, Blake, I feel like so much of the things that we need as adults, they don't tell us. They don't teach
Right?
us this in school, right?
No, they
They
don't.
teach us to assimilate, right?
Uh
And
huh.
go into the system. So when you
Right.
were sharing it, I'm like, come on, I'm,
Right.
I'm right there with you, sis. I'm sitting here like taking notes down and
Knowledge
all
is
that.
power, man.
That's it. Knowledge is power. That's that's
Right.
that's the whole thing right there.
And I guess one of my things too, Blake, is there a certain price you should ask then? Like you said, don't pay them off, but say that if it's a bill,
Hmm.
and I know you mentioned like $50, but what if I come in and it was a bill like 2,000 or 3,000? Is there a certain limit? Should I say, okay, can I give you $50, or should we say, okay, well, how about I give you
Well,
200? Like,
well,
where
first
do you?
thing, don't ever go ahead. Don't ever set up payments with them. Don't do that. So
Mm,
don't even do that. So you may say, hey, well, you settle for this amount, but what's going to wind up happening is that whoever you're on the phone with, or if you talk with the manager, they're going to say, hey, like you talk about $2,000. Well, y'all take 1,300. We can't take 1,300, but we can take 1,700. If that's just the number that they're going to, hey, they'll agree to, then that's what you go with. And then, but make sure we're going to do a pay for deletion. Make sure we get a letter in the mail or whatever, and then you send that to the credit bureaus. Let them know that that account was paid, and they, agree to remove it. Get something in writing. Don't just say, hey, take their word for it. Get something in writing. Pay for deletion, okay, and get
so
that
is it they're
removed.
gonna email that to you while we talking, or
They
should I wait
can,
till I get it and
they can send a
then?
letter. It typically they will probably just send a letter in the mail.
Mhm.
But once you pay that, you should see that come off immediately off your credit
Okay.
report. You should see them
So
just
would that
whenever
be?
it updates.
I'm sorry because I'm getting hyped about it. So do I wait for the letter before I pay them, or I go ahead and pay them on the phone while we're talking, and then wait for the letter?
They'll
And
probably go if they tell whatever they tell you to do. I've had it to where, and I've even done it myself, where they just say, okay, yeah, we'll send you a letter, and the letter has come in, or you paid it, but you're gonna pay it right there.
okay.
And that's what I would recommend you to go ahead and pay it off right there, and your stuff. I don't think they're gonna. I haven't had a situation where they jinxed you. I just, matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. It was about 3 days ago. I had a client. They had got a home back in November, um, and we was talking, and I was kind of going with her. Like, you didn't tell me you getting everything situated and everything. But anyway, she was like, Blake, I did what you told me. We got, close to closing and everything, and we, something came up on her husband's credit report. A doctor bill came up, and she said, "I did what you told me because we don't have time to dispute. We don't have time to go fight with them. You're closing in about 2 weeks or whatever. You don't have time to fight with them." Okay, so what she did was, like, I did what you said. I did. I called them, did the pay for deletion. They took $700 instead of the, I think it was like 12, something like that, 1150, 12. They took $700, Blake, and they did it, and it came off my credit report immediately. They already got the home. You see what I'm saying? I don't know what it is about when you get close to closing, things from 1987 pop back up and out the blue. And he's like, I don't even
Trust
know,
me.
he said, I didn't, I forgot all about this. I didn't know. And that's when it's type, a lot of times that happens. But this is what you do, pay for deletion, get it off real quick, and we get to moving on. Um, but in the field that I am, I'm going to, also recommend you dispute it. But if you're at a time constraint, this is something you can do, and it'll come off there once you pay. I've done it. It's happened for me. So I paid off, some things and got it out the way, and small stuff, and just some stuff I just went on and paid it for a lesser amount. But that was before I really knew how to credit repair. I thought that was the way to
Mm.
go. And once I got to it, I never paid for another collection. I just got everything
Pay
off.
for deletion.
Pay for
I,
Right.
you know,
deletion.
and again, something that you just don't hear people talk
Right.
about or tell you. So pay
Ask
pay
for the
for
settlement
deletion,
first.
that important thing. Right.
Ask for the settlement first. Don't just say, hey, do y'all do a pay for deletion? Because I'm not. We don't want to pay the full amount. They did pay
Mm-hmm.
it, so don't pay
Okay.
full. Hey, we gotta do a settlement, and also, when we do a pay for deletion, I really need this off. I'm going to pay you. Such stuff. You can even do it in writing. You can do a settlement letter in writing if you want to. Send it to them and wait on their response, and that way. And then yeah, they'll send you a response saying, hey, we will at this amount. Whatever you're selling, this is what we'll take, and yes, we'll do a deletion. So there's your
Mm,
letter.
Love
And a lot of times
it.
we send
Great
that as well.
information.
that's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the next thing too is we got the information, you guys. Y'all got that written down and everything. Now we're gonna move to another great question of asking about the difference in between things of the credit wise or credit karma and your
Right.
actual score. Once
Mm-hmm.
again, you guys, something that I also personally talked to him about and was trying to find information because I know I look at that. I have it connected to my Capital One to my card, so I'm constantly looking at it. But also know when I go in different places and I buy things, it's totally
Mm-hmm.
different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the infamous credit karma scores. Yeah. So so the
Y'all
thing
see, he
about
was
credit
asking about that
karma,
right there. So that's
Right.
credit karma, credit wise, uh, smart credit, so those platforms, those are Vanish 3.0 scores. So those scores are not accurate. They trying to get in the game, and then perhaps maybe in some years to come, they may, be accepted. I think there are some places that will accept Advantage scores or look at that, but typically your banks or whatever credit card companies or whatever car dealerships, they're going to look at your FICO score. So they're going to look at your either your FICO 8, excuse me, 2, 4, 5, um, 8, 9, and 10. So your FICO 8 scores is what you like. Say if you get on the Experian app and you look at all three of those, those are your FICO 8 scores. So those are your accurate FICO 8 scores. And I think Experian will give you one of your home buying scores, which is your FICO 2. Now your FICO scores that the mortgage lending companies look at is your home buying scores, which are your 2, 4, and 5. So when you're looking at those FICO 8 scores, hey, I'm at 650 all across the board and everything. Let's go ahead and get the running pre-approval. Okay, so but what I would have clients to do when I think when I can see one of those scores are like on the Experian over 620, 640 or whatever, that number up there, I'll have them to go to a site called myfico.com. And so when you go in there and that's 29, I think it's like 29 bucks to pull that, and that will show you all the scores that you need to see. So it will show you your FICO 2, 4, 5, 8, 9. And then what we'll do is look at your home buying scores and everything, line them up, that middle number, then we can see we can move you on because whatever that lender sees, that's what you'll see on there. But Vantage scores, credit wise, Credit Karma, the accounts are accurate. Those are your collections or whatever. We will look at them some too, but those are your collections. But they're pretty accurate on the deletion parts or whatever
Mm,
your payments and stuff, payment history, your credit utilization. Those are pretty accurate. But those scores, don't go to the dealership, getting upset with them when they tell you, you got a 520 and Credit Karma told you 690. You know what I'm saying? That don't do that. But like I say, knowledge is power. I was green with it as well, so I thought
mm-hmm.
I was going with the higher number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Experience can't be right.
Yeah,
And Credit Karma
what
said
you
I'm at
telling me? What you
720.
telling me right now? I know I just
I
checked
like
it
this.
before I came up here.
So yeah, so don't, and I'll have clients that I had to explain that to, because those are graded different as well. Mr. Blake, my score went down 20 points on Credit Karma. Okay, yeah. So what did you experience? Let's go ahead and let me explain to them. So just
Hmm.
because I know, I don't be like, oh no, they just don't know. So you got to, people
That
don't know. A lot of people just
education,
don't know.
yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was all right. Credit wise, I was looking at that as well. And then when I came into knowledge of it, I understood what platforms I need to kind of look at, and pay attention to if I want to know my actual scores. Bank the banks give you FICO scores, but those will be typically your FICO 9 scores. So like Navy Federal, those type of banks like that, credit unions, they will look at those scores that you'll see that they give are your FICO 9, or maybe some of them may give you Vantage scores. I have a credit union that just only gives my Vantage scores.
Mhm.
So I just don't pay attention to that. But like some of them have their own internal scores. Like um, Navy Federal, they have internal scores that they go by too, or how they judge all that. I don't know. But they typically will pull your, um, if you're trying to get a credit card with them, your Equifax FICO 9 score. So that's what
Mm,
they look at. So
Well,
everybody's a
going
little
into
different.
that, yes, because I want to go into that Navy Federal too, because I've heard a lot of people talk about that. But within this question, like you
Mm-hmm,
said, it's advantage and
mm-hmm,
FICO score. So we can make
mm-hmm.
sure you guys are writing it down and have it. It's a difference between advantage. Those are more the credit commerce, credit wise, and then you have your actual FICO score, which is more accurate and correct.
All right, Vantage,
Okay.
FICO.
Okay. That's what we have. So y'all want to make sure when
yeah.
y'all look at the
Write it
advantage, so
write it down so
yeah,
you know.
we
So
making sure.
Right,
and with that, bro, one thing you said you keep mentioning there is that knowledge is power, right?
right.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And I would even go the next step further to say applied knowledge, right? It's power because
Mm-hmm. Okay,
y'all hear
right,
Blake
right, right.
dropping these gems and telling y'all this. If you don't do nothing with it and reach out and see how you can help yourself, then you just heard something, right?
Right.
But thinking of that, like for the person watching and saying, okay, all right, I hear that. I hear what you're talking about, the collections, the closed accounts, and the difference between my FICO scores and all those different categories that maybe I've never heard of until I
Mhm.
just heard you talking about it, Blake. What would you say to that person to say, okay, where's the best place to start? Like I'm thinking about my credit now. Where do I start? What would you
Well,
say to
first
that
thing
person?
you want to do is start by getting, those negative items removed off your credit report. You want to start by getting that off first, and then stripping it of all the negative inaccurate items. Then you want to redress it again with some positive. So you want
Mm,
to, typically secure credit cards, add that to it to your credit profile, and also some installment loans. One that I will recommend to clients, that's just that just have nothing going on or whatever. Once we get everything cleared, redressing it with a secure credit card, either that or authorized user cards. One credit card that I recommend is Open Sky. Open Sky credit card. It's a $200 deposit, and it's no hard inquiries. So that's a real positive card to add to your credit profile. Mainly, I love it because it's no hard inquiry. Just do the application and everything and get approved in $200 deposit or whatever you want, the limit you want. Um, and also maybe an installment loan. So what you want to do, you want to start building up this credit mixture with installment loans, revolving credit, on-time payments, and stuff like that. Um, I like Credit Strong. It's an installment loan, $15 a month for that installment loan. It's kind of like self-lender. Reason I just like it a little better is because it is $15 a month. And counseling it doesn't really hurt you. You're not really penalized bad for counseling it. You get all your money back and everything. So those really help your credit mixture and start building it back up, start building that credit score up, building that payment history. Or you may want to add an AU to it. And this is the authorized user card where you may get a family member that got good, um, some credit cards with good
Mm.
payment history, on time payment history, relatively 6 months to a year, something like that. And on time, low utilization, below 10%. So 30% of your credit score is your utilization, credit utilization. The best thing to do is have it below 10%, between 3 and 5 if you can, but low utilization is really good on your credit profile. So you want to add those to it and make sure you make a good on-time payments, and start rebuilding your credit score. But first thing we got to do, we got to get those negative items off that's impacting your credit profile. You got to get that off.
Okay, you just said a lot in a mouthful right
I'm
there.
sorry, I go
So we
fast.
can
I'm trying
just
to,
No,
no,
that's
no, no,
awesome. That's
no,
because
it
I
good.
was
say it all
Yeah.
the
great.
time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, great information. Okay, I guess the first thing that I want to go, if you can
Mhm.
kind of just get information on really what is installment loans, because I know I heard you say 1,500. So kind of just explain to individuals out there that may not know what installment loans really is.
Installment loans could be like bank loan or something like that, car notes. Those are installment loans. So these are where
Okay.
they have a due date. So you may have to get installment loan that's 5 years, that's coming to an end. Something like that. Or like I said, the credit strong, where I think with the $15 a month is 2 years paying on that, and then you're reimbursed in the end everything you put in. So this goes into a CD and just gives it right back to
Oh,
you.
so okay, that's what I was thinking. So you pay them,
Right, and
and it
it
goes.
reports as an installment loan, but it's
Okay,
really just
okay.
going into a savings.
Mm.
Right, and
Okay,
so
guys.
I would tell them to use. And I think they have it now. Whereas when you get to a certain amount in there, it can transfer over to a secure credit cards. I think maybe 200, 250. You can actually get it as a secure credit card, so you're getting that double hit there. So something like that. Um,
I like
and
that.
yeah, so
Is
that's what
there
we
certain
do.
banks or areas you can get it, or you just go into a bank and say, "Hey, do you guys provide installment loans?"
Yeah, so you can actually go to your credit union and do the trick I've done before and a while back in the past. You can do an installment loan, $500, borrow, $500, put $500. I think you have these set up. You gotta have $500 in your account or whatever. Um, you can borrow $500 from your credit union as a secure loan or whatever, and then make the payments, and that reports on your credit report, and then pay it off, and then you just keep doing it again. I guess for a larger amount if you want to, but I did it before with just $500. You can do that with a credit union. You can also get your secure credit card through your credit union. I like credit unions a lot better, so I really deal with them pretty much most part is the credit unions. Interest rates with them just a lot lower
Mm.
with them, and so I like rolling with credit unions, Navy Federal. Um, I got something with them, and a couple other accounts, and they're pretty much just credit unions. I just like them.
And going
Right.
back to the credit card, you said, I think it was
Mm-hmm.
the Opal. Oh, excuse me, I didn't say
Open
that one
Sky,
wrong. Okay, yes, that one,
and that's just
that one.
one of them. Yeah, that's just one that
Yeah, so
I
you
kind
said
of
put
like.
200. So if you can go back to that, so on their credit card, you
Uh
can
huh.
actually do a deposit. Okay.
Right. So that is actually just a credit strong. It's I'm sorry, Sky's a $200 deposit you got to put on it. So that is actually the $200. That will actually be your line of credit.
Mhm.
$200 will be your line of credit, or whatever you want. You may want to do you want 500. You may want to do 1,000. But the minimum deposit will be $200. And this reports on your credit report. And they report pretty quick. They can really hit you about 2 or 3 weeks. Getting on your credit profile as a installment loan. I think it has an annual fee. Does have an annual fee of $29. I believe $29 a month. I mean a year. I'm sorry. Um, and then after that, I really don't recommend getting any more secure credit cards and cards like that. We try to go to the bigger bank cards after that. Whether we do have to add an authorized user card if we need to get that score to a certain point, maybe over 620, 640. That's typically the score to get pre-approved for those bigger bank cards. Capital One, something like that. Citibank, get a little higher, 670. So those big bank cards, to add to your credit profile, because we don't want a lot of secure credit cards. And I don't like to have too many because of the annual fee. So when you do get credit cards, you're looking, you're searching for some. You want to get some with no annual fee. You know,
Mm.
um, I don't have any that have annual fees, so I do my When I search for them, I really that's one thing I look for. What will it benefit me? You know what I'm saying? As far as rewards, points, cash back, and also that annual fee, the APR, what they charging and everything. So I look for all that when I research credit cards and I go to get approved. Who they look at when they're um, seeing if you qualify, what credit bureau they pull from, what scores you need to have, so I can see, my approval odds, what I look like. And a lot of them will have pre-approval, where you can go in and see you get pre-approved for a card and how much. But a lot of times that's not guaranteed. So I just like to
Mhm.
do my own research on them. And it's kind of like, well, I know a lot about a lot of credit cards. One is I got a lot of them myself, and I know how to maintain a lot of them. But I chose wisely. And so when I recommend cards to clients or whatever, or anyone, I kind of know a lot about it because I have it or I did my research on them. And then there's some that I really just don't recommend. I think it's god awful. Um, and I just say, no to
And I
that.
like that you said that on it was doing a research on it because that's
Yeah.
not something that I've thought about. I'm just going to be honest about it, you
Mhm.
guys. So we're just being realistic on here because this platform is about learning and educating. So for you to say you don't have annual fees, I'm looking like, what cars do you have? But it comes with that research, like you said, of
Mhm.
finding cars that best fit you. And now I know too to look at that to see, okay, FICO, what they're actually looking at. So like you said, I can have the upper hand on it. So with going there, we also talked about cars. Are there certain tiers? I've heard people say like tier one, tier two, and tier three because I heard you mention like after you get one of those cars, I guess in the beginning you don't want to go back to it. So is there a certain level that you should be moving up gradually as you get
Well, we
cards?
when we start talking about like tier one and tier two, we're talking more on lines of business credit.
Mm.
On that,
Mm,
I'm learning that as well. I'm establishing some business credit as well. So tier one, tier two, and tier three, those are when you start to get into like the business credit aspect of your credit. So business owners, small business owners, or whatever, when you want to start building business credit, and you gotta, a reason why you want to build business credit, you may want to start eventually start investing in property, or something like that, or just whatever whatever you got set up for. So business credit wise, that's where tier one accounts like Crown, Crown Office, Shirt C, stuff like that, Uline, those type of accounts, those tier one credit accounts, those accounts that report to your credit reports, a business credit report, Experian, Equifax, Duns and Bradstreet, those report to those only. Then your tier two would be like maybe Capital One, Spark credit cards, or Sam's Club, those type of accounts will report to just your business side. And then your tier three could be like Chase Inc., Amazon Blue Business Cards. American Express Blue
Mhm.
Business Cards. So those bigger banks. They're going to go back and look at the tier two, and tier two going to look at tier one. So you want to kind of get that established in order to really get the full benefits of if you
for sure.
get your tier
Okay.
one set up, maybe 5 or 6 tier one accounts. I think those are really what you need. And then tier two, get those established. Then tier three, get on up there to the bigger cars, 3,000, $30,000 limits, $50,000 limits, to do what you need to do, and on the business side. And no PG, no personal guarantee. So if you can get those, those would be great.
Yeah.
Definitely with that
Yeah.
That's
business.
awesome.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot of people did some amazing things with that business credit. So I'm
Mhm.
definitely working
Yeah.
towards that there
Yeah.
to utilize that. That's a goal for this year for me to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm kind
Blake,
of getting
man,
established in
just
that area.
so much information, man, and what you've shared. And again, like Erica said, I hope that all of you were taking some notes and that you'll go back, watch it, share it with someone if you picked up on anything, because I know I did. So, Blake, how could people find out more? How can people follow you, connect with you, and learn more information and link up with all this, all these gems that you're bringing?
Right.
How
Yeah,
can they
yeah.
link up and find out more?
Well, they can just go to my website, www.goingupcreditrepair.com, and they can schedule an appointment with me through that, or they can just give me a call at 256-445-4597. or they can just follow me on Facebook at Blake Harris. Also, they can go on there and they want to purchase one of my ebooks or both of them. The first ebook is the Growth Mindset that I wrote about 2 years ago, and also they can go ahead and purchase my newest ebook that I put out last year, Understanding the World of Credit, Volume One. And they can also be on the lookout this year for my courses that I'm working on right now. So either this year or first part of next year, those should be available. They can follow me on IG, Going Up Credit Repair, or I'm new on TikTok now, so you can follow me there, Credit Man to You, and just give me a call. If you got any questions, set up an appointment with me. You got any questions we can answer, or look to get started, man. We can go over everything with you, pricing, and get you rolling and get you into that house or car that you desire,
Definitely.
or just having good credit for bragging rights, whatever you want.
Hey, for
Yes.
real.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
Right, right, right.
right.
Definitely a poet. So yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Like you say, it's just so much information, man. We'll be going on and on. I know I will because I'll be asking 1,000 questions. So it's always good to get more knowledge. I'm always trying to
There's
learn
so much
every
out there. So much
more.
out there.
Hmm.
Yes, it's like I'm seeing it like, oh man, okay, I need this and that, but I need to know more too. So definitely, you guys, like you say, look them up, ask questions, talk. I know I am working and talking, asking questions because, like you say, it's always good. One of the biggest thing I heard somebody say that having a 800 credit score is better than having $100,000 in the bank.
Yeah, just like
You
it.
know, because there's so much you can do with that credit. So you
Yeah,
want to make sure you're mindful and you're educated about that credit
right, right,
aspect of it. So we
right,
we
right.
definitely we
And then
thank you. We're
apply
gonna
it.
get back on. Yeah, we got to get you back on more detail for business as well too as you continue to grow with it because yes,
Yeah.
we want more and more information to push
Oh yeah, I
out.
love it.
But
I
we
love it.
also want you guys to gain information, like you said, about educating yourself and going to talk to him as well because there's only so
Hmm.
much you can get within the amazing podcast that we have within the time frame. So we want to make sure you guys are jumping in on it and getting that education. So we thank you so much, Mr. Blake, for dropping
Thank
in
y'all.
us
Thank y'all. I
all
appreciate this.
these gems. Man,
Gems, man. I'm
I
telling you,
appreciate this.
it's something awesome about being able to add value in the space
Right.
yeah.
that you occupy. And I know you've done that, so check. And so I know people will see this and definitely be reaching out like, okay, yeah, I need to call Blake. And so that's what it's all about. So we definitely
Yes.
appreciate you, man,
Thank
just
y'all for this
bringing so much
opportunity.
good information to the people, man, and sharing that story.
Yes. Thank y'all for this
Yeah.
opportunity. I really appreciate it. I really do.
No
Mhm.
Yes.
doubt.
Yes, always. We love it. We love it. We thank you. But you guys, it's a wrap of that. We're going with another amazing episode of Talkers versus Doers. And y'all know how we end as always. Don't just talk about it. Get out there and do it.
Do it. Peace.